Hello, and welcome to the Four Horsemen. My name is Paul, representing Diecast Graveyard. Today's theme for the month of May is Pace Car, and our guest horseman is Keith from Outlaw Speed Shop. The car I've chosen for this month's theme is the 69 Camaro Indianapolis 500 Pace Car. Now, almost all pace cars are either convertibles or some type of T-top, etc. But I've decided to go with a hard top because anybody else that might be doing this car is going to be doing the convertible. I've chosen the hard top here for the 69 Camaro because I'm not really a ragtop fan, but we're going to take this car and we're going to transform it into an Indy 500 pace car. Now, all the cars in 1969 for the pace car edition were all convertibles. There were no hard tops. Now, if you happen to see anybody who has a hard top, that's something that they converted. Now, for the second time in 3 years, the Camaro was chosen as the pace car. And this position, honestly, guys, is bought. If you have a car that you want to promote for your sales for your car, like General Motors or Ford, etc., they pay to have their cars displayed for the pace car edition. Mustangs and Oldsmobiles and all that stuff. All those were paid for, and then they give them a certain amount of cars also to use at their whim at the Speedway. Let's have an adult beverage and get started.
It's time to start the autopsy.
I'm going to take the car apart here. I've already drilled out the little caps on the end. Here's the body. Now, this is a brand new car. All we're going to have to do is file down the posts a little bit to make them nice and even, and then drill them out using a 5/64 inch drill bit. Here's the interior. If I wanted to go all the way with it, I would paint the interior orange because that's what the pace car came with. And we're definitely going to do a wheel swap. I've got the body now. Let's put it in the citrus strip, or as I like to call it, embalming fluid. Get it coated really well inside and out to make sure that you get all the paint off, especially if you're going to be doing a color change. Now we're going to strip all the paint off here, and we're going to paint the body white. Knock off all your excess. Put it on something so you can look it over.
Meanwhile, back in the graveyard.
Here I've got the body, and I've already painted it down and coated it with Tamiya Surface Primer. This is one of the few rattle can paints that I use, and the product is absolutely excellent. I love this. Now, if you want to get some of this, let me know. I'll help you out. We're going to put the decals on with Microset. Now, when you put the decals on, you need to make sure that you have a nice clear coat. If you have a flat paint such as surface primer, etc., when you put the primer on, if you looked at it under a microscope, it would look like little bumps and raises, and it doesn't allow the decal to lay flat. So that's something to think about when you're putting on these decals, as you have a nice clear surface to put it on. And there's today's tip from your Uncle Paulie. Here I'm putting on the stripes on the hood. Now, I happen to get these particular decals from Second Chance Redlines. Now, Vince from Second Chance Redlines has an excellent product. Now, yes, I could make these on my own, but I just happen to have some, so I'm going to go ahead and use them up because the product is excellent. Now we're going to do these on top of the roof. Obviously, if you had a convertible car, you wouldn't be putting these on the roof. So I'm kind of shooting from the hip on this and doing what I want to make the pace car that I want, or would have dreamed of. Just make sure they're lined up properly using your Microset. Make sure you smooth it all out and get all the air pockets out of there. And then once it's all wetted down and it's applied, take another dry Q-tip, or as they call it over in Australia and the UK, cotton buds. Now we're going to put the one on the trunk, or as they call it in the UK, the boot. Peel the decal back just a little bit so you've got a way to grab a hold of it and put it on your car. Use your Q-tip and blot it out just a little bit. Now there is a spoiler back there, and you want to make sure that it goes over the spoiler. You want to get that gap out of there so there's no air pockets. We folded it over the spoiler and we cut it off with a razor. Just be real careful that you don't scratch up your paint there. That's looking pretty good. Now we're going to do the decals on the side. Make sure you wet it down really good with your microsol. Your microset. Some people ask that sometimes. What's the difference between microsol and microset? A microset helps you place the decal on there, and it gives you a good surface, and it helps the adhesive stick better to your car. Microsol is a solvent, and you use that to go over raised surfaces such as doorknobs or in vents or something along those lines. Now both products will kind of soften up the decal some, so you got to be careful. If you use it too much and you blot it too much with a Q-tip, you're going to turn that decal into rubber, okay? And it's gonna mush all over the place, and it's not gonna look good. Here I'm trying to line up the little vent decal. Now I am using tweezers here. Be careful when you're using a sharp-edged product like this because you could definitely rip the decal. Other than that, these things lay out really nice, and I apologize for it fading in and out because it's trying to focus on my finger. But this is lining up super nice. That looks sweet. Now take your Q-tip, rub it out, be careful that you don't move the decal, and then use a dry Q-tip to blot out any excess fluid that's underneath the decal. That is looking super, super nice. Now I wish I could get the right wheels for this car too, the old Rally Sport wheels that they have for these cars. But honestly, the only ones I've ever seen have been on Johnny Lightning cars, and they just don't fit on cars like this. I've asked a few tire folks that if they make these things, the rally type wheels, they could probably do really good and make some money off those. But it does take time to make the mold, etc., and it takes a lot of money. And then you got to order thousands of sets of tires. So it is a gamble. But I know I'd buy a bunch, especially if you're doing the old Chevys. That is looking super, super nice. I love it. So we got the stripes on the roof, the hood, and the trunk, and we got the passenger side. Now we're going to flip it around, and we've already done the driver's side. So we're good to go. That looks excellent. I love how that turned out. Look at that. Now we've done some detailing. We detailed in the grille and the lights, and the tail lights on the back, and the bumpers. That looks absolutely beautiful. This is going to be a nice car. Here's a glamour shot of just the body. Man, that lined up really, really nice. I'm super happy with that. Now we're going to do the wheels. I'm going to use these Samed wheels. Make sure you check out the wheel selection at samedwheels.com. They've got an incredible line of wheels for your custom needs. But this is what we're going to use. I love the way these look. And I like the letters on there too, Samed Wheels. Now, if you want to get something that says Goodyear or Michelin or something like that, you're going to have to go to a different website. Go ahead and pop out the old wheels. Use your screwdriver and widen out the little clips on there. Now, if you're careful, you can widen up just a little bit to get your axles of your wheels in there, and then you can bend those clips back in or squish them down so the car itself or the base will actually hold the wheels. Then you won't have to use any glue. Now that front wheel is a little bit loose. We may have to trim that axle down. Yeah, see the distance there? I'm not happy with that at all. We're going to have to trim that down. We got a little tiny bit of room there. So probably cut about half of that distance off in between. Use your wire snips. And like I said, just cut off that little tiny amount, about halfway. It'll take time to get used to what you have to do here, but once you figure it out, you'll be able to trim these wheels down to fit any vehicle. Now, the reason that the axles on some of these are so long is so they can go on a lot of different cars. If you had to make separate axles for every single casting and like that, that would be an incredibly expensive line of products you would have to carry. So that's why the axles are a little bit longer on some of these wheels that you purchase, so you can trim them down appropriately. Now, if you're doing a ton of cars, it's a pain in the butt. But if you're only doing a car here and there, trimming these up is no issue. Make sure you use those fence pliers like I just showed you there. Now that fits a lot better. Now you can hold these in again. You can hold them in with super glue. You got to be careful with the super glue though, because it'll leave a white film when it off gases. Here I don't need it. Now we've got all the pieces. We've used a clear coat for the body. I've used my Diecast Graveyard 2K Clear. Now if you want to make your car look like glass, check it out at diecastgraveyard.com. Here's the base with those beautiful Samed wheels. That looks great. We got the interior and we got the windshield. Let's put everything together and give my creation life.
Life! Life, do you hear me? Give my creation life!
And this is what we started with. A 69 Camaro hardtop. Now, as I said, the 69 Camaro pace car only came in convertible. And that's because you got people that are being introduced, the drivers, celebrities, etc. like that, and they need to have the roof open so people can see them. But we took the car apart, we evaluated what we had. We painted it after we stripped all the paint down, we put those beautiful decals on there, and then we clear coated it with the Diecast Graveyard 2K Clear. And as I always say, folks, you can do this too. Follow the videos I put out, follow the videos that my friends put out, and they can guide you to help you enjoy your hobby that much better. We will guide you on your journey to help you enjoy this hobby that much more. I had a lot of fun with this car, and I can't wait for you to see the total results. And this is what we got. This beautiful 1969 Camaro pace car, but with the hardtop versus the convertible. I absolutely loved what we did here, and I had a lot of fun. Now, if you're getting anything out of these videos, if you're getting anything, any knowledge or anything like that, hit that like button, mash that subscribe button. I got a ton more videos coming out in the very near future, and I also do a live stream at least once a month, and we have a lot of fun there, answering questions, having some beverages, and just shooting the breeze. But make sure that you subscribe, you can follow things. We got the super huge, ginormous build-off that's going on, and I'll have the voting up there very soon for the Phase 3 of that. And it's been a lot of fun. But I've absolutely had a great time with this 4 Horsemen video. And make sure you check out everybody's build. Here's some glamour shots of the car. This thing turned out absolutely sweet, and I hope you agree. If you do, give it a thumbs up. Next month, we have the World Service Day, which is where you pay tribute to anybody who's in the services for our cities and towns. Firemen, police, everybody like that. When you're done at the end of the month, send us a glamour shot on the last day of the month. 16:9 high definition glamour shot to 4horsemendiecast@gmail.com, and make sure you put that hashtag in your comments for your video or pictures also. Now, some people don't have a YouTube channel, and that's okay. That's okay. We want you to participate in these builds, and we have a recap of these videos every single month. We just want you to participate. The schedule, or the build schedule, is on 4 Horsemen Diecast on the YouTube channel, so please check that out. I want to say thank you to Keith from Outlaw Speed Shop for being this month's guest horseman. Make sure you check out his build on his channel. It's a great build, and it turned out beautiful. And check out my other guys here, Andrew and Skip and Tom from Spork Syndicate. It's been a great time. So thank you so much for participating, watching the videos, etc. We got a lot more stuff coming up. I want to say thank you and cheers.